Hello and welcome back, guys. This is the Nico from the future, and I hope you enjoyed this upcoming video because there's a lot of cool things, cool little details in there that I hope you might enjoy. In the following, I'll showcase the entirety of the Brelshaza raid, where, well, the way we did it at least. We did gate 1 to 5 blind, and gate 6 we did actually use a guide because we had some time problems, but overall it was a really fun experience, and honestly probably the most hyped raid in Lost Ark ever. So it's one of the hardest raids, and having 6 boss fights is actually quite unique for Lost Ark. Usually Lost Ark boss fights are only, or boss raids are only around 3 gates long, so this is quite unique. I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Gate 1 is very straightforward. First of all, you get spawned on one of 4 platforms on the map, and your 8-man group is split off into groups of 2 each, so 2 people per platform. Each platform has their own little task they have to do. For example, we need to stagger the dog, which is the mini boss that we also have to kill afterwards, and periodically have to stun the statue in the middle to prevent the dark smoke from fully being cast and therefore hitting our entire group. And you continue your pattern until all of the mini boss dogs are dead. Once that happens, one platform opens up for you, and now the raid is just split into 2 different groups, which spawns 2 separate bosses, which are actually both intertwined afterwards. And that means you can actually hit both of those bosses with one Thyrain, which is a side reel ability, and destruct and damage both. And now we just have to kill them around the same time, which is fairly easy to do because even if you don't, they just respawn with 2 health bars. After both bosses are dead, the entire platform opens. From here on out, the entire raid is back together. Now there's only 2 more major mechanics that we have to think about, and obviously you don't want to die to random explosions and other mechanics during that time. Around the 85th health bar, golden squares spawn around the map, around the platform, mostly at the edges, so preemptively you have to assign positions to everyone in their group. The important part here is if no one stands in a square, the second one will also not spawn. So everyone needs to be assigned to a proper position, otherwise a lot of people will die here. At 45 bars is a 6 counter mechanic, and 4 ads spawn around the map. You get rid of the ads very easily with one of the side reel abilities, and after that it's just about the counters. The boss in the middle requires you to counter him 6 times, otherwise your party gets a huge amount of damage to them, and a lot of people die if you can't hit the counters. So what you usually do is you just alternate between groups until the counters are done. So for each counter someone has one ready. They're not super hard to hit, but you need to know the mechanic to really understand when to counter. After that, it's basically just a race to 0 health bars. There's a couple of little mechanics happening, a couple of little explosions that can definitely still kill you, but outside of that, the fight is over. And for us, even only after like an hour or 2 of blind tries, we got to beat this boss. Gate 2. This one is one of my favorites because it splits up the raid into 2 different groups. Now the big exception is one group only has 1 player and the other group has 7. The 1 player has to enter like a little side portal, a side area of the fight, and 1v1, well, the real boss, which is called Procol. This guy is basically a PvP fight half the time and a normal boss fight the other times, and 1 person can actually solo this. To enter, you need to first stagger the head of the boss. It's kind of an apparition outside, to then get at one of those golden lines and enter the fight. Now this fight is pretty straightforward for the most part. A couple of these abilities one-shot you, a couple of them don't, and the boss swaps between being CCable and non-CCable on different health thresholds. Now that's not everything. On top of that, the health bars of the boss inside of the side portal determines the mechanics that happen outside of it. But the interesting part of the fight is in Procol. If the 7-person group kills the head outside, the boss inside gets staggered. On top of that, the boss gets staggered at different intervals and changes modes basically. From the start until around 120 bars, The boss is just a usual boss, has unusual mechanics, you can't see him whatsoever, but then he swaps to basically be a PvP fight where you can CC the boss and you can interrupt combos, you can interrupt abilities, and so on. After trying for a while, we got the fight down very convincingly. The only problem was on Blade I didn't have an inherent stun, so I had to change some tripods around, and I also got a sleep bomb. Some of those abilities are really important to cancel with a CC, with a hard CC like a stun, so you don't get one shot. On top of that, having time stops here is also very crucial, as those can save your life in multiple different situations, and it's just important to have. One quick side note also about this fight: every single time the head outside is killed and the boss is staggered inside, you can actually leave the fight just so you don't stack too many debuffs at the same time and get one shot eventually. Obviously, if you have giga amounts of damage, you can literally just boost through the fight and never have to leave. Wasn't the case for me in this one.
Nice. How's it going? Azina, Nico. Azina.
I don't know if that will work.
Roll it.
Yes!
Ed.
Is he dead?
Okay, free Nico, free Nico.
Help me!
I'm busy,
I'm
I'm working.
invincible!
Again, he's invincible.
Not one left.
Yeah, there's an Ed, guys.
Yeah, one second.
I'm dead.
And we need
Nico's
to
so dead. Stay away from him, stay away from him.
Devil's on me as
But
well.
open.
Get away. Nice. Good laser, good DPS here.
Uh-oh. Flashy, don't fucking die. Kill the thing! Oh god.
Nice.
Good fucking job.
Yeah.
Gate 3. Now, Gate 3 is quite different from the two before. There's no splitting into groups, basically, but there's a couple of quite complicated mechanics that were kind of hard to figure out while doing this blind. First of all, 145 bars-ish, there are meteors falling from the sky, and you basically, instead of dodging them, you have to get hit by them or run over them on the floor to trigger a little typing check and then stagger the boss. After that, at around 100 bars, a stagger mechanic happens once again. This time though, there are little eyes spawning. If the eye is basically open and is round, you can look at it, and if it looks more like a cat eye and it looks a little bit more rugged, then you have to look away from it. The easiest way to do this is just to do another side drill ability again, in this case Way, who just staggers the boss while you are outside of those zones, so you can't get hit in the meantime. A lot of the mechanics in between are quite punishing as well. For example, there's a mechanic where you spawn in the middle in a little maze, and you have to find your way out of it. Especially bad if you get the golden aura around you, then you have to actually go to a specific spot outside of the maze. Everyone else can just go wherever they want. There's also one more mechanic where there's like little shapes spawning, and you have to pull the correct shape into the boss. After pulling the little shape into the boss, the correct one, there will also be little safe areas spawning, which, depending on, you know, which group number you are, you will have a designated spot for, and after that you can do a lot of damage. This is where you push the DPS and try to get to the 42 mechanic as fast as possible. At 42 health bars, it's what we call the shape mechanic, because there's a bunch of different shapes spawning, and we were utterly confused on how to solve this issue. So in the very beginning, the boss emits a little color, like a glow. And we thought in the beginning that color is the one that we need to kill. So we did, and it didn't work. So essentially the boss glows a certain color, and that color is the one that you cannot kill. In the very middle, around the boss, 3 different kinds of orbs or stars spawn. These stars have 3 different colors. You need to avoid the one that the boss glowed before. You want to have a class that has a lot of single target damage that doesn't kill the shapes around it. So in the middle, 2 people will do the colors that are not glowing, and outside there will be some cubes that spawn. 1 person has to kill 3 cubes each. So there will be 3 people killing cubes, and on the very outside of it there will be blue diamonds spawning. Those also need to be killed by 3 people, and those 3 people again have to kill 3 diamonds each. I know that sounds a little complicated because it honestly is, but once you get used to it and you just know, oh, I have to kill 3 cubes or I have to kill 3 of this color, it's not that difficult. Now, there's one more difficult part actually afterwards, and that is the 2 people in the middle will be assigned basically a leadership symbol over their head. One is a cube and one is a diamond. The cube with a star, or the cube with the leadership symbol basically, needs to be somewhere in the middle, and all of the other people that have a cube above them need to stack on top of him to survive the explosion. If you have a diamond above your head, you will have to spread out around the map. As long as you're not close to each other, you will not die and you're safe. Having a diamond is usually easier, but both, if organized well, are pretty easy to do. Now afterwards, there's only one little bait mechanic at 0 health bars of the boss. Spears and I think scythes are spawning with different colors, red and blue. Now, depending on how many people you have alive, this is either super easy or it's actually kind of difficult. You need to stand on top of 3 each. So someone has to get 3 reds and someone else needs to get 3 blues. Technically, you can even do this with 2 people. I think that's the minimum amount. I think 1 person can't do this, but 2 people could. Obviously, the more people you have, the easier this is. But overall, this is actually not a difficult mechanic. And even if you only have 4 people alive, it's quite easy to do. Next up is Gate 4, the cube. Now this one is a very unique design, and a lot of people like this one because it's not overly complicated, but still offers a lot of variety in each fight. So essentially, a cube spawns in the middle, and that is your raid boss. Now, to kill this thing, there's a couple of things that stand in your way. First of all, the color mechanic. Before anything happens, the boss is assigned a color. This color can change at different intervals and is always specific on which health bar that is. But whenever the color changes, the boss also does a little mechanic, but more importantly, on certain health thresholds, a huge color mechanic happens, and you need to be ready for each one of them. So there's 3 different cube colors: red, blue, and yellow. The red big cube mechanic is actually quite straightforward. Essentially, the boss enters a stagger phase and people need to stand in front of him one after another after they picked up a yellow orb, and the stagger just continues until it's over. On top of that, that one has a lot of AoE and a lot of lasers and stuff around, so you need to dodge a lot. On blue, you need to assign certain positions for each member of each group. 2 people at a time can kill a little cube that spawns and have to stagger that one to kill it. Afterwards, they get a little bit of a protection buff, and after that, they will be in a little either typing test or an imprisonment. So the people that have the typing test need to finish that one and then free the other ones that got imprisoned. Otherwise, the boss just lasers one of them and you get either you get 1 shot or you take a lot of damage. Also on blue, flame marks drop. To get rid of those, basically your entire group stacks outside of the boss's area, and if you are inside of them, not only do they do a lot of damage, but on top of that they give the boss a stack, which, well, in return makes the boss stronger, and at 10 stacks kills it. Also, quick mention, if you get pushed out of the boss's area, you also get some stacks, encroachment stacks. You don't want to get a lot of those, and at some points in the fight you can also use a Xena to get rid of them if you have too many. I will get to that in a second. Now there's also a yellow orb. That is probably the hardest one. Yellow orb, you need to assign positions for each group, so 4 people on each side. One group stacks at green and the other group stacks at blue. Now an orb spawns at blue and green. 1 person of each group needs to kill that orb or stagger that orb. Afterwards, they need to get out fast because it will shoot out another little golden orb exactly where you killed the previous one, and then someone has to intercept that little orb close to the boss, so it creates a little field. While you stay within that field, the boss can get staggered a lot, so 2 people on each group will be assigned to stagger, while the other 2 that's got the balls have a little protection shield, and they will run around and collect little purple orbs so they don't intercept and interrupt the people staggering. The only other mechanic would be the stagger mechanic. At 95 and around 17 bars, the cube becomes like a star shape, and there's a little timer below it, and within that time you need to stagger the boss. Keep in mind here, you can use Wei, you can use Inanna, and you can also use the boys, aka Lutera's Horn, to speed up the process and actually stagger the boss. Now, that was actually the entire fight. Comparatively to most others in this raid, it's quite simple, but obviously, since the colors can change all the time, that every single time you do this boss, it feels a little bit different.
Bingo!
The sacrificial lamb.
And the cameraman.
We had to make the sacrifice.
Now, I need to make a quick interception here, because from gate 1 to 4, we didn't struggle that much. Those were really fast. Even doing it blind, obviously we got into some roadblocks here and there, but overall it was not the hardest thing in the world. Now all of that changes with gate 5. You see, at gate 5 is a threshold where your item level also gets increased one more time. So gate 1 and 2 is 1490, then gate 3 and 4 you require 1500, and for gate 5 and 6 you actually need 1520. Now getting there is obviously not easy to 1520, that's quite a big jump. So most of my group basically stopped right there for the first week. But I wanted to continue because, as you guys know, the game at that point was already getting on my nerves a lot, and all of the disconnects and everything made everything worse as well. So I just wanted to get it over with. So we started with gate 5, basically doing a blind pug group. And while I explain this, consider this, okay? We were stuck on this one for hours and hours and hours, just figuring out the mechanics. And when we eventually figured them out, it took another multiple hours to execute the fight properly. And it was honestly just absolute torture, but see for yourself. So first of all, the boss does a bunch of random mechanics that can all do a lot of damage. At 180 bars, the first major mechanic happens, which isn't really a major mechanic because all that happens here is it spawns orbs, and depending on each party number, you have to collect those orbs. So for example, if you're party number 1, you collect 2 orbs, party number 2, you collect 4, and so on. On top of that, they have different colors, so each party is assigned one color. In our case, party 1 was white and party 2 was black. Now, assigning these colors is the first thing, but on top of that, you need to assign a position according to the number. Again, probably times 3 your party number. For party number 1, I would have to be positioned at 3, and so on. Now, why do you need to do all of this? Basically, the important part here is to get to your specific stack number of those orbs, and after that, at 140 bars, meteors drop. Now, that's already the first frustrating part, because getting everyone to get the same stacks is absolutely obnoxious sometimes, and obviously people run into the orbs spawn on top of people, and there's always like a messy part to it. But once you figure it out, 140 bars, meteors happen. Now meteors, I have to explain a little bit more because that is actually one of the more difficult mechanics. Essentially, since one of each party has the same amount of orbs collected, just a different color, they will be assigned to go together. So party number 1 from party 1 and party number 1 from party 2 will together go to 3 o'clock. They will create a meteor hole where then later on a meteor has to be dropped into. Now, why do you have to put that on 3? Basically because the middle lines of this like square platform keep getting shot by a laser, and if one of those meteors lands where the laser is being shot, the entire party wipes. So you need to assign them exactly at those positions to make this happen. Now the meteors will all have spawned, or the little meteor holes I should say, and now the important part happens. There's a bunch of bullshit happening on the map. There's a bunch of explosions, a bunch of lasers that can one-shot you, and you basically need to dodge everything while a meteor is dropped on specific people, right? Very simple, but again, this is only possible if everyone got their marks correctly, and just this alone probably getting this down alone probably took like 5 hours, because people obviously get hit by things, then the laser in the middle one-shots people, and so on. So this alone is a really tough mechanic, and on top of that, getting here is like 60 health bars each time, so it takes a long time to, you know, redo this. Well, after you finish that, you basically just drop one of the side reels, in that case Azina, do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time, and keep pushing the boss as fast as possible. And at 110 bars, another major mechanic happens. This one is, well, a combination of a few things. First of all, in the beginning, there are marks on the ground, and you have to look at the order of those marks to know which part of the boss fight you have to stagger first. So in this case, the left side was sparking up first, then the right side, and then the middle. The middle is always the third. Now 2 big balls spawn again, and out of those balls there will be a little stagger check spawning. So we are left side here, so we need to stagger it first. After we staggered the star, we need to notify the other group on the other side to stagger theirs, and then 2 counters spawn, one at the bottom of the boss, one at the top. Could be anywhere, by the way, so you need to be very aware of well, your movement speed abilities if you are assigned to a counter. In this case, as you can see, there was one at the bottom for me, so I got it, and then you have to stagger the middle. If you've done all of that correctly and in the right sequence, out of those balls will be portals spawning. Now, group 1 goes into the left one, group 2 goes into the right one. Those are fundamentally different once again, though. So again, you're fighting basically the cube from gate 4, but only with 20 health bars and a little bit of a different assignment. This time, you have to actually collect little orbs that are outside the boss area, or basically inside of it, but like at the edges of it. And each person on party 1 needs to collect 3 of those. If once you have 3, you have a little line above your head, and that indicates that you're basically done. Once everyone there has 3 orbs collected, you can kill the boss, and you have to leave very quickly, because otherwise it will one-shot you. On top of that, at 10 bars, the cube also has a little stagger check, which then, if you complete it properly, you get a bunch more orbs and makes it a lot easier. And, well, I think it's also required in some cases. So essentially, you kill the boss after everyone in party 1 has 3 orbs. And once you kill him, you need to get out of that room as fast as possible, because, again, you will get killed. The other side has to do something similar, although 1 person has to stay outside. So in party 2, only 3 people will stay inside of the cube room. Most of the time, a support is assigned to collect 12 orbs in total, or 13 maybe. So no one else in that group can basically pick up orbs. Sometimes you have even a couple too many, but usually 1 person collects like 12, 13 orbs, and that's it. Now, keep in mind that no one on party 1 can die during any of this, because you need all 4 of those people that just collected the orbs to be alive, because otherwise you can't do the next mechanic, which is the lasers. Now, the lasers are also pretty straightforward. The boss spawns in the middle. She has a little shield. You break the shield, and then you have to stagger the boss. While all of that is happening, there are lasers spawning beneath her feet, and you have to basically walk into those lasers to not get damaged and silenced. We did Inanna just so it's a little bit easier. No one gets silenced, everyone can move. And you have to remember the positions of all of those lines. Now, if you're very advanced, you can also just remember the position of position 5, 6, and 7, and you can just ignore the rest, because those are usually the indicator. Obviously, we didn't know that, so we were stuck here for probably fucking 3 hours just figuring out what we're supposed to do with this, because there was no clear indicator of how this worked. Keep in mind, we still did this blind, and it was absolutely confusing. We were stuck here for so long, and just getting here again takes forever. So basically, once you've done all of the lasers and the lasers are over, you need to find the same, well, little circle spot with the exact same lasers coming out of it as the boss beforehand shot out, right? So you have to memorize the lasers, and then you have to find the correct circle that has the same lasers coming out of it. Now, if you've done that correctly and everyone of your party is there, everyone survives, and we go on to the next part of the boss fight. Most of the stuff that you see now is this basically the same until we get to the meteors once more. So at 90 bars you have to collect orbs again, and at 50 bars you need to do the meteors again. Now there's one major difference here though. Once you get to the 50 bar meteors, the entire map is a little bit different, or well, how you can place the meteors is a little bit different. If you remember beforehand, we had to place them at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. That doesn't work anymore. Now it has to be at your party number times 3 plus 1, or 7, 10, and 1. But like essentially, you just basically have to put it on the square 1 further than you put it before, and you also have to do that very much in the middle of that square, or at least in the middle on the edge of the square, because otherwise, again, the lasers that shoot out will have a different pattern. They're circular this time, and you will see it right here. If those lasers hit one of those meteor holes, again, the entire raid wipes. So you need to be very precise on this one and not fuck anything up. Now, if you've actually come this far, it's just more of the same. The fight doesn't change a whole lot. It's just a bunch of basic mechanics, all of which are pretty easy. And, well, just getting here took a long time, and it was probably one of the most frustrating fights in the entire game, because it lasts very, very long, and basically everyone in your party needs to, well, pull their weight, otherwise it's gonna be a complete mess. Ay. That shit again. I have black hole as well on a lot of people.
Yeah, just stay
Well,
away
what's
from
that?
each other, I assume.
Just get the fuck away after they dropped.
Oh my god, I'm so dead.
The moment it's done, I'm gonna go finish it off.
We need to, yeah.
Yeah, finish it off. She stop.
Kill it. Here.
Fuck it, I'm
Mickey
staying
Mouse.
inside. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Come on.
Is that
that's
it?
so-
Yes!
So at this point, I was kind of ready to quit. Gate 6 was very much on the horizon, and there were so many disconnects happening, and it was just getting annoying getting new pug people and, you know, like re-entering the raid multiple times, like trying to make people understand that we're basically a blind group and so on was super annoying on Gate 5 already. So basically what we said for Gate 6, we're gonna go into it with a guide. Unfortunately, that gate is hard enough that we couldn't clear it. And that was right before the Christmas break. So I was like, will I even continue? Should I just quit the game right here, never do Gate 6 properly, and just say, let's just move on to something else? But obviously, I didn't do that. So here is what happened in Gate 6.
Can I get out?
No,
Please.
welcome to jail.
Like it has been nearly 7 hours. I'm losing it.
No,
I'm turning into
it
you.
hasn't even been
literally.
6.
I lost hair.
No, this
Sure.
was the
I'm
plan.
bald
Like we
now.
all gathered to just jail you here. Pumpkin will be out of hospital before we clear this.
And don't ask me next week if I join. I don't. I won't.
You mean we're clearing tomorrow again?
Yeah, good luck to you.
So around here at 222 bars, tornadoes spawn. These tornadoes can be avoided to actually kill an orb, but all of this is not very important, especially if you have enough damage.
If you uninstall, can I have your account?
Yeah, 218
I'll
to
get you
17.
banned for account sharing for that question. as
Kinda
well.
need some supports.
Oh no, I'm inside.
That's it.
Oh, I killed it.
Do I Inanna here?
So what you see right here is basically the first major mechanic of Gate 6, and it's basically a memory game. As you can see, there's a little square on my screen. That shape I have to remember. At the same time, you see a little purple thing above my head. That means my controls are reversed. And on top of that, and now I have to dodge to different tiles depending on where the red is and where it isn't to stay safe. I have to remember this pattern to actually replicate that afterwards when she shows my sign again or someone else's. Only one person can be chosen.
Circle.
Circle 1101. in.
Okay, almost there. So this point, that's what we call the meteor mechanic. This one is at around 188, 187 bars, and there will be 8 different meteors spawning. 1 is golden and 7 are blue. The golden one always has to go on the very edge of the map, otherwise it will hit too many tiles. On top of that, it's huge, and it will break the two tiles adjacent to it. So that means you always want to have it either at 12 or at 6. Technically, you could even do it at 3 or 9, but that's usually not what you want to do. The other meteors, the blue ones, count as 1 damage, and they can be placed on other tiles. So right here we split them up, so all of the 3 tiles that are killed by the golden meteor will also be hit by the blue meteor, so we're not wasting any tiles. Well, in the future of the meteor mechanic, there will be a bunch more different meteors dropping, and with different amounts of meteors and so on. So we will have to constantly evaluate where we put the meteors and when the tiles that we have are respawning. Because if there's more than 3 broken tiles, the entire party wipes.
We win.
Is that the first time you crit one?
Yeah, in my life.
In 7 hours. That's the
My
first
life.
fucking time you crit a sword, Nico.
5-7 guys inside.
I crit another one. It's over.
Oh, 120 mil.
I'm puking.
Okay.
Don't
5 and
forget
7.
5-7. Can I get help here?
Okay.
Spin.
Good time, stop Glitbok.
I know.
It's gaming.
It's not my first clear, okay?
Why you gotta do us like that?
I mean, we struggled a lot on the first week also.
Normal
so-
people would have just said thank you.
Oh,
We need to
5,
chill, we need to
6,
chill,
7. Yes.
We need to chill for a while.
No, it's not that long.
Don't do damage, guys. No damage, 0 damage, no damage. There it is.
What?
There you go. 5,
We have
6,
Come on,
7.
Sam.
for like 7 hours. Can we do something?
Where's the...
Doing something. We're
Oh.
bonding here.
Oof.
Out. Gold soon.
Go,
There
go,
it
go,
is.
gambler. Yeah, it's like 12:20 for respawn. Play it safe around the top area.
Next one is 11, 12, 1, right?
Yes. Yeah, 120 is when we stop. Red. And that's blue. I'm colorblind. I'm actually losing it.
Do a little bit more damage.
I got
Yeah,
one.
well,
Good.
okay.
We can push right now. Play safe around top. Okay, we need to push fast though.
Now next up is the pizza mechanic first and then the shandy mechanic. Essentially what's happening, first there will be a pizza and a circle. You don't want to get hit by either of that. So there's a one little safe spot that we're standing on right there. Afterwards, you want to go outside, depending on your party number's position, to a specific position on the edge of the map. On that position there, you will be waiting there for orbs to spawn, and sometimes in some positions there's also small little black holes that you can enter, and with entering that you will not be sucked into the big one right after. Also, essentially, you need to take 2 golden orbs. If you get hit by 3 red ones, you will die. And if you're one of the people that is inside of that black hole, which is me in this case, you need to rely on people outside to ping certain colored clones. It will be like a yellow glow when you walk beside them, and they will ping those clones spawning in the black hole we are in. And essentially, everyone needs to kill one of those clones, or you can kill it and then someone else can take the orb. And once everyone has a golden orb in that black hole, you can then leave it again without getting killed. Basically.
I'm going 9.
One is a counter.
You can take it, freak.
Go back to your spots.
Where's the second?
Wait.
We're waiting.
Oh. Okay, both of the
I'm going
top. If you still
11.
need it,
I
you need to go
need
there.
11.
112.
Here's a light, here's a light, here's a light.
Okay, we're all good.
Nice.
Nice. All I had to do was threaten everyone.
I don't know why does that have to knock me out of the universe? I don't know.
Nico, don't say oh my god or anything.
Oh
I'm
my
getting
god.
anxiety. Stop. I always think you're dead.
Help the people. Spread the love. Here.
Ooh.
I play close to top.
We do 11 for blues
Yes.
and 12 for gold.
Yes, sir.
We'll get yellow.
Since we're getting yellow, might as well push. Okay, come top. Don't die there. Inside. Outside.
Go, yeah. Care.
Calm down a bit. Okay. 740 is the respawn.
Nice counter.
Okay, next blues, we're doing 5, 6, 7.
Counter.
Yeah.
No counter.
Hold
Never
on.
mind.
In.
In again.
In.
5, 6,
5,
7.
6, 7, guys. 5, 6, 7. We can push. There's no issue.
Top at 40.
740 is the respawn. Dodge if you can.
And we got a disconnect.
It's fine.
Ooh.
Okay, next meters
boss is
we
AFK.
can do 5, 7, 3, 9, whichever you are close to. What is this?
What? 5739? Just DPS
Yes.
and killer.
Whichever you are close to. Fuck off golds.
Jesus.
Top is free too now, but
Okay, top is 3. We can just break 5 or 7. Break 5 or 7.
5. We break 5.
Okay, we break 5. Inside. In again.
Five.
Break 5, guys. All 5. Hands coming, watch out. Okay.
Almost hit
Nice.
it.
Try to push to 37. Dark mid.
Push, push, push.
In.
In,
In,
Out.
out.
Brick.
Roll,
Bottom,
roll,
bottom,
roll.
bottom. Fixed. Okay, nice.
Okay, nice. Second shapes.
Second shape
We
soon.
might not get the Nana.
Do it anyways.
We might not get it at all. Period. It's not enough Esther gauge. We will get some, but I think it's not enough.
We will see.
It is.
Oh, it's
Okay,
enough.
we got it.
So at this point, you've basically seen all major mechanics. There's only one big difference now. Obviously, you can see the memory game once again, and I have an octagon. The difference is 3 tiles are dead here. So we use Inanna to make sure that the returned controls, the confusion debuff, isn't applied anymore. So walking between the tiles is way easier because, as I said, we are lacking 3 tiles. So sometimes you have to walk all the way across the map to not die.
We lost some.
Triangle. 311.
Triangle 311.
Oh, it's gonna be a long run.
It's fine.
Ready to run? 9.
11, 9.
9. Nice.
Okay, 25 is the corner break. Let's pull it here. Don't want to lose anyone at this point.
Counter.
Don't have it. Wait, we have blues. 11, 112. If you can.
Oh, it's breaking. It's fine.
Oof.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I almost put it in the middle, man. It wasn't fine. You didn't see that.
Nice counter. Huge counter.
Too much.
I just push now.
Yeah. Dark mid. Up.
Watch
Careful
out
the
for
yellows.
yellows.
In
In
again.
In again.
Just time stop any bad shit that you see. Anything. What the?
Free everyone.
Oh, can't.
I don't have get up.
Thank you.
Fine. Time stop
You
this.
ready to time stop now?
Big.
Okay, where's the white? Where's the white? Get away from the
Gambler
white.
potion it up, dude.
Careful.
Come here, come here, come here, come here.
Where's here?
I'm pinging.
I'm blind.
Hey, don't be.
Fine, just play safe.
Yellow.
We have 4 minutes,
I
it's
like-
fine. Just
Up.
stay here and we run away
Okay.
because we can't cut it. Just run away.
I need help.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, thanks. Stay away from corners still.
In.
In again.
Chandy. Hands.
Get together. I'm grabbed. Watch
Go
behind.
away, go away.
I'm time stopping.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
In. Out. Fuck you, Brel.
Nice.
Please kill it. Fuck her. Oh my fucking god, dude. Oh, never again.
Sorry.
Never,
Quit.
never again. Never again. These books, man, our efforts paid off.
True.
How did you get MVP?
It's just in the genes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the entire fight. I know it's a little dark in here now. I'm living in a cave. Thanks for watching. Thank you for supporting the Lost Ark journey. I think this will probably be the last Lost Ark video for a little bit, at least once there where there's a lot of effort put into it. So I hope you enjoyed this little journey, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.